Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Coffee Talk Supplemental, and as you can see, we're in the coffee shop here. We're not going to be on the, we're not going to be in the game background because this is not necessarily associated with my World of Tanks stuff. Although we are going to talk a little bit about that. That's another reason why I'm in the coffee shop and not in the game client. Got 4 things to talk about. First one is no coffee talk on 30 January. We'll talk about it again on this coming Sunday, so we'll have a coffee talk this coming Sunday, but on 30 January, I will be in the middle of the Global Game Jam. To that end, I wanted to invite any of you who may be nearby or interested in not only just the Game Jam locally where I am, but anywhere. If you're interested in making games, interested in gaming, it's really a pretty cool event over the weekend. A bunch of people get together in various locations, and you try to make a game in one weekend. It can even be board games. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the computer or computerized or anything like that, electronic. And everything is open. I mean, web-based, Unity, Unreal Engine, a board game. I don't know, a card game. Card games are another one that they make quite a bit. So it's really pretty cool. My particular site, so go to Global Game Jam. Just get the old Google foo out or whatever you use and type in GGJ will work. But Global Game Jam 2022. I happen to be at the Gulf Coast State College Panama City Jam. So if you're interested, come on out. You go to this site. You actually have to make an account on Global Game Jam, standard act with an email and a password and blah, blah, blah. Then you can start searching your nearby locations and you'll find the nearest jam. We're doing it here at Gulf Coast State College in Panama City. And this is the page right here. And it gives all the information on who is signed up and all that good stuff. And some information on what time it's going to be. Panama City's Gulf Coast State College Panama City is going to be from 9 to 9. So some of them stay overnight. It's 24/7, all that kind of stuff. This one we're going to shut down. There's issues with people sleeping there and all that kind of thing. So you just really knock that out by not having that happen. But anyway, check it out. You don't have to be a programmer to do this thing, man. If you just have ideas, you can do music, you can do digital art, you can do physical art. You just have ideas, you just like games, really just about anything. And I've seen all kinds of interesting stuff and people be extremely useful who didn't think they maybe had something to offer. So check it out. Global Game Jam, come on out. That'll be awesome. So I do plan on doing a few live streams. Hopefully I got to get the laptop set up and all that good stuff. I'll at least have some videos for you guys on how that went down after the Global Game Jam's over. And then like I did last year, I'll feature the game. We did a game last year. Last year was the first time me and my partner 1212 Gaming actually finished one. Like no kidding, from start to finish, and it was a enclosed, no kidding game. We got pretty far in a lot of others, and we had some of the mechanics and stuff working. So that was actually a lot of fun. The prompt this year was given out early. Usually it's done on the Friday as it starts. They've expanded it because of the COVID protocols and everything in different countries, so it's more like a week. And the duality. It's just a single word, duality. So the idea here is you take that word and you create some kind of game around that. Very loose interpretations a lot of times, but pretty cool. It's really cool to see all the ideas that people come up with. Okay, so that's Global Game Jam. I'll be there, so if you want to come out, check it out, say hi to me, all that good stuff. We'll build a game together. All right, so got mocha hair in my mouth. That's very professional, which is apropos to what we're going to talk about. All right, let's get rid of Global Game Jam here. All right, 2 things. First thing, well, let me back up slightly and say the reason I'm going to talk about these is because I've always been kind of upfront with the industry behind the industry. A lot of you have been along for the ride on this for 3 years as we've grown this channel and figured out how this whole thing works. And while it's been more of a hobby on my side, to some extent it's dipped into being more professional here and there. It's kind of depends on the time and how much time I have and all the other things I've got going on. So I've had 2 kind of significant events happen lately vis-a-vis wargaming. The first one is that currently my partnership with them on making videos is kaput. That's over. Got a note from the home office and said, hey, thanks for coming along on the ride, all that good stuff. We appreciate what you did, but based on what we're seeing and the results we got, we're going to discontinue working on this. All right. I think at the end of the day for me, it came down to they wanted to run my channel their way, and I didn't want them to run my channel their way. And while that may be a mistake on my part in terms of growing, I don't really know. I think it's not, to be honest with you. I know I got feedback both ways, but I think most of the feedback was, I won't say negative as in you guys were saying it was bad, just negative as in the things they were telling me to do. A lot of you were like, I kind of like that you do that. So I thought that was interesting. And I was not willing to give up, it's really funny that you say it this way, but creative control, you know, I didn't want to. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have just completely did what they wanted, but I felt like I was becoming an unpaid employee, and that was not going to happen. Leveraging a bunch of my time to create videos they want, using all their assets, you know, wargaming branded banners and stuff like that all over the place, using their color palette, you know, taking all of my thumbnails and making them homogeneous within, you know, one branding. I just, it is not something I really want to do. So we had some back and forth, and I felt like, to be honest with you, that the home office that the guys I was working with, very professional, very nice, I have no issues, but in terms of the way they operated, it was all transmit, no receive, right? Do this, do this, do this. Any kind of feedback I had was mostly ignored. If I had feedback like you spelled my name wrong, which they managed to do, whatever, people make mistakes, but that one cracked me up. And they didn't spell it wrong. They actually had me Guido 2121. But anyway, any feedback like that was technical, like, oh, hey, it's actually Guido 1212, they were fine. They fixed that and took care of it. In terms of being an equal partner with them on, hey, I think putting out a video every day is fine. They weren't listening. Nope, sorry, that's not how YouTube works. That's not our professional opinion. Giving me ideas for videos which are all good, but ideas that would take, in order to do anything even close to justice to it, 30-minute videos. Then I make the video and then come back and say, hey man, it needs to be 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something like. Well, how am I supposed to? You give me this list and you want me to review 5 tanks in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Like, what am I supposed to say about a tank in a review in 15 minutes, especially 5 of them, right? Yeah, you could do it. You could go top 3 things, boom, 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 and just blast through it. That's not really what my channel is about. Back to the earlier part, should it be about that? Would I have more followers or viewers? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't worth it to me to really bend the knee that much. And I thought it was working out, And one more thing about that kind of cracked me up. I know we've talked about this in the past, but they tell me that, all right, you need better thumbnails. You need better thumbnail game, because if you had better thumbnail game, then you would get more views on your videos. And I sent back and said, I get more views on my video when you push with your reach. Like when you advertise my video, because your reach is exponentially larger than mine, I get 2,000 views, 1.5, 1,000 views, which is 10 to 20 times what I usually get. And they want to delve down and get into this kind of nitnoid, what's the best practice on YouTube thing, which has value, but focusing on that vice focusing on what it is that makes people like the videos. In my opinion, so anyway, that's I was going to say it's on the back burner, but I guess it's just a dead letter at this point. Thank you to them for their help. Those are paid employees. They, do that professionally. They have a lot of information. I learned a lot, and I'm glad that I did it. It was not a negative thing in any way, shape, or form. I appreciate all of the people who helped me. We even had a meeting and talked about it, and there was a little bit of give and take, but I always just kind of felt like it was a push and no pull, right? Everything was transmit, no receive on their side. Now, that being said, that is a great segue into the next thing, because I think to some extent it's a bit of a corporate culture with wargaming, unfortunately. Because I told you guys I was going to do reviews on the tanks that were for auction. The Berlin Orchestra, the 268 version 5, probably not the 59G because that's just a 59. The AMBT especially, because that's a premium tier 8, which is going to be driven a lot. And then we had the Quillin, which I don't know if I'd eventually done that one, but probably 3, maybe 4 of those I was going to give you guys reviews on. That is not happening now. And here is why. Here is why. This is not meant to cause drama, although I realize, if I'm honest, that just saying this publicly potentially causes drama. And I don't want to get into names and in particular details, but because of the industry behind the industry thing, and you guys come along for the ride, I want to talk about it because I think it's interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad. I'm not irritated at the NA folks in any way, shape, or form. I do have an issue with what the home office did here, or some level above NA. So let me explain. The basic gist of it as I understand it. And again, some of the details of when and who might be slightly different, but I'm going to tell you the way I see it and what the outcome was for me. When the auction was announced, there was a small push, or maybe a large push, however you want to look at it. Maybe a large push from the very vocal tiny minority, let's call it that, Reddit and on the forums on NA, saying that, hey, how about the NACCs don't participate because there's a limited amount of tanks and they have so much gold they got and free experience and goodies from wargaming that it's, air quotes, unfair. It's not free. This stuff, to me, I spend time and energy doing the content. This is not a woe is me, pat myself, on the back, humble brag in any way, shape, or form. It's just a fact. I spend time making silly videos for a silly pixel tag game. There you go. I get a bunch of gold and cool things from wargaming. That is amazing. Thank you. I do appreciate it. It's why I'm in the partnership with them. One of the reasons. I enjoy the game. I enjoy making content for you guys, but I also enjoy getting the content that I can then make more content with. It's enjoyable all the way around. So it's not necessarily free, but I understand the gist of what the movement, the small, very small minority, very vocal movement was about. I didn't say anything. I didn't have a dog in the hunt. I was going to use some of the stuff, get the ones I wanted, not bid on the ones I don't want. I do not give a... I care enough that I want to do it, but if I didn't get a pixel tank game, whatever. It's whatever. So I just sat back and watched it happen, because what I have found doing the CC thing, that as a general rule, it is better just to sit back and see how it goes rather than try to be in the forefront, because the several things I've tried to kind of push and get going on occasion have gone nowhere, so it's not worth my time. All right, and that was not a dig at NA in any way, shape, or form, but it's not the Guido Wargaming show, right? I'm a tiny CC, so yeah, if I have a great idea and maybe someone picks it up, great, but I've had some things I try to do, nothing happened, so I got it. No worries, doesn't bother me. So the movement kind of started moving, and what we heard then, what we were told, and this is the gist of the whole thing, what we were told then is, all right, you're going to get the tanks at the end of the event. Don't bid. We were told don't bid. All right, don't get in on the auction. And if you want the tank, go ahead, and we had a little sign-up sheet on Discord. We would sign up, and every day we would get that tank at the end of the day. So of those 5 days, at the end of each day, or if we said nothing, we'd get them all at the end. So there was 2 options in there. I was doing all right, give me the tank, and I ended up with the Berlin Orchestra and the 268 version 5. And then we come up to the AMBT day. Now let me just back up slightly, because another thing happened right there. As this thing started, some of the EU CCs were getting rentals, which we were told we could not have. And they were doing content and getting views and doing things with the rentals. Let me go back to the fact that Guido's a small channel, and if one of the big boys over in EU gets something because Wargaming does the calculus and says it's worth it more to let that guy have it than Guido, I got it. That's business, man. That's business. But it happens a lot. It happens a lot, and it does irritate. It does irritate the NACCs when other regions get extra stuff. The reason I talk about that is because of what then happened, right? Because you can't really have it both ways. You can't be getting extra bonuses, at least in Guido's opinion, and then when someone else gets it, get butthurt and complain. So here's what happened. About the time we were supposed to get the ABMT, we get a note that says it's on hold. And immediately I went, I think I have a general idea of what, I was going to say exactly, I don't know exactly, but I bet I have a general idea without knowing a single other thing. Just knowing the history, and I was a little bit surprised that we were going to get them all, and I wondered who made the decision, and I didn't know how high the level was, and because of the way the company operates, the other shoe is going to fall. We've had this happen before, you know, where something good's going on, and then the mothership goes nope and shuts her down, right? So it said on hold. I don't remember what the terminology was, but I'm like, whatever, okay, they'll figure it out. But in the back of my mind, I said, I bet we don't get them. And I wouldn't be surprised if the two we already got were taken away. Would not surprise me in one bit. Not mad, but I've just kind of let it roll and see what happened. I did type into Discord and say, hey, I bet I know what happened. You know, mothership got wind of this and they're shutting it down. That's my first guess, right? Could be anything, really. Could be technical, could be whatever. But my first guess, in 3 years of interaction with this company, and especially considering interaction between the mothership and lower echelons, I bet I know what happened. At least the generality of it. Well, I'll be danged if Guido wasn't basically right. If I was not basically right. Without getting into names again, there were some questions on stream with some of the NACCs. Some of these other CCs from EU come in there and asking, hey, are you guys getting these? And he's like, it's not a secret. I mean, it's not like we're trying to pull one over here. Yeah, that's what we were told, right? Our connections told us that this was the process for what was going to happen here. That's what we were told. We weren't told it was NDA or secret or, you know, secret no EU or anything like that. So he's like, yeah, that's what's happening. And pretty quickly after that, done. So then what we get is, hey, all right, hold on, we got to figure it out. There was whatever they did negotiation-wise. I just stayed out of it, and then we hear that, okay, you can have them, but you're going to pay the average price of them. Okay? Which, if that had been the beginning stance, is entirely fair, and to a large extent is still fair, except for the fact that you told us that it was going to be a different process, and this is an entirely more different process and more costly, as a matter of fact. Which then goes back to, well, you just get free stuff from us anyway, to which I then go back, yeah, it's not free. I'm actually spending my time and effort doing this. Right? I mean, there's a lot going on here, man. There's a lot going on here. Ultimately, I do the CC thing at their discretion, and I continue in their program at my discretion, and at any point, those two can part ways. Videos like this probably go as a mark against Guido, so who knows? I don't know. And I'm not mad. I'm not trying to flame Wargaming or the Home Office. I am noting that in this situation, that was cheesy. Right? Very, very, very cheesy. There's a lot of ways to handle something like that in a large corporation with your people, right? Your, in this case, CCs, who are kind of a de facto part of your advertising group right there, and to kind of get jerked around like that. And we saw a situation like this over on Warships, didn't we? And I'm not saying this rises anywhere to that level, although some people might believe so. And again, I'm not mad. I am making a video, clearly. You know, I am not ignorant of the fact that while I say one thing, I'm sort of doing another. But I'm really not irritated. What I did tell them, though, folks, is take the tanks off my account. I don't want any of them. Again, not to make some big point. It's just I don't want those. If you're going to tell me something, and then start that process, and then change that process midstream to a worse outcome for me, then I don't want you. Then I don't want them. Right? It's not a big deal. Just don't put them on my account. Take them off. I'm not playing that game. And please, in the future, if you're going to tell me something, follow through. That's all I'm asking. Is if you tell me something is going to go a certain way, then I'm asking you to follow through with that. And it could have been done that way. There is zero reason why they could not have continued with that with the NA, and then with the internal communication go, all right, And what they do in the background to fix that is none of my business, right? They can do their company thing. It's what I would do if I was running the company. But if I was the higher echelon and one of my lower echelons did something like that, I would absolutely cover my word, because that was my word that the lower echelon made. That's what happened, right? They did that in my name. And it's pixel tanks, you know. So on the one hand, that's why I don't care. I don't get them. On the other hand, it's why they shouldn't really care if we got them, right? Crazy stuff, man. I just wanted to chuck that out there. I thought it might be interesting to everybody as far as the industry, behind the industry. There are more than likely other details in there I don't know. I fully admit that, 100%. But from my standpoint, where I sat, I was told one thing that was starting to happen, and then it was completely changed midstream to a worse outcome for me overall, right? Even though the first outcome was a little bit unbelievable, because I was like, I'm kind of surprised they're doing this. Just to back up slightly, or maybe a lot on this, that was actually the first suggestion I saw typed in by a CC. It wasn't me. I think it was Overlord Prime, or I'm not sure, but I could have got that wrong. But somebody else. Hey, why don't you figure out the average? And at the end of the auction, if you want us to stay out of it, at the end of auction, give us the option, and we'll take those credits and free XP for the one tank and gold credits, gold coins for the other tanks, and we'll decide which one of those we want. And then don't make those part of the X number that went out to the community. Community is happy there. We get a shot at it as well, and that'd be a cool plan. Well, they didn't do that. What they said is you're just gonna get it, and then they changed it midstream to that. Okay, now we're gonna make you pay. It's just the principle. At the end of the day, the principle of being told one thing and then having them go back on it in the middle of it like that is really cheesy, extremely cheesy. All right, guys. No coffee talk on 30 January. Check out the Global Game Jam. Feel free to come out to the one here in Panama City. Love to see if you get out there. Partnership is over as of now with Wargaming. We'll keep on pressing on. Thanks for the opportunity. I learned a lot. That was amazing. Auction stuff, that was all ad nauseum. You saw it there. Let me know what you think down below. I'm not looking for the flame war on Wargaming. I'm not looking for the pitchforks and torches or whatever. So stow that. If that's all you've got, then honestly, we don't need to hear it, to be quite honest. But if you've got interesting anecdotes or other information or other ways to look at it, maybe you agree. Maybe you agree with what they did. Maybe you say, well, it's a big company, and when somebody makes a mistake downrange, you got to fix it, and sometimes there's a little pain. That could very well be a lot of people's opinion. It clearly is Wargaming's. Ultimately, pissing off a bunch of relatively low count CCs doesn't really hurt them, right? Even though I've said multiple times it didn't really make me mad. It made me irritated enough to make a video, right? But it's not a holy crusade. I just thought it would be interesting for you guys. Okay, guys, that's it for Coffee Talk Supplemental. Went a lot longer than I thought it would. Blah, blah, blah. You guys have a good rest of your Wednesday, I think it is, and we will see ya.